a word from Briefcase Beans.
Yeah, oh, I was about to give you that business, take you back.
All right, son.
Show you what all these tattoos mean.
Five barrels on my hand.
You know what I'm saying? All right. I can dig. Nah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So last week we talked about burr.
Burr.
And when you said, you don't spell burr like that.
You went and looked.
And I was like, nah, you know what? You're kind of right. It's more like brr. If you do B-R-R-R. But anyway. All right. So we
how do you spell burr?
I think it's like
B-U-R-R?
B-U-R-R.
Uh-huh.
But they say burr, B-R-R-R.
We'll take it.
Burman. All right. So last week we talked about burr, right? And, we talked about the investment and how much you would need.
Now, what's the burrs again?
Burr is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we talked about rentals, and we talked about the whole scenario of the $100,000 house, and you invest $70,000, you make $30,000, yada yada yada, and you refinance it, right? It's a nice flip. It's a nice rental, right? So you refinance it, cash out, get your money back, you do it again. Then we said, hey, if you don't have $70,000, you can utilize a hard money loan. And then you're utilizing only, 15, 20,000.
Yeah.
Let's say you ain't got 15, 20,000. What do? You want to get into real estate. Well, the cheapest way to get into real estate is something called wholesaling.
Okay. You hit me to this. Go ahead and run that down.
Yeah. So basically, wholesaling is there are a plethora of homes in America that are dilapidated, that individuals don't want, right? Let's say someone was left a house and they don't want to be a landlord, or they tried the landlord thing and it just wasn't working for them.
Right.
Or let's say they're in a position where they need some cash right now and they can't wait to put it on the market, or the house is so damaged that you can't afford to give a realtor 6% of what you can get for the house.
Right.
You find a wholesaler, right? Or the wholesaler finds you, right? So basically what you do is there's a few different ways of being able to find individuals that need a wholesaler. You ever when you're on the highway, you see those we buy houses, buy ugly houses?
Yeah,
It's those dudes.
Okay.
Right? So you could literally just take some cardboard if you like and write we buy houses, put your number on it, and people will hit you up. You go to the house, you do a deal assessment of how much the house is worth. And then, obviously you want to leave some room for some profit for yourself. You make an offer, you put it under contract, you advertise it to buyers, and you make some money in between. That's how that works. It's super simple. And you can literally do it with pennies. You don't really need much. Now, like myself, I do wholesaling from time to time. At my job, if I have a down season, I may jump into wholesaling just to make a couple extra bucks.
Yeah.
Or if I'm looking for a property myself, I go wholesaling and find it way cheaper than what somebody else is going to sell it to me for. So what I do is I find I get address lists of something called absentee owners. Basically what that is someone lives somewhere, but their name is on a home that they don't live at. It's not their primary residence.
Okay.
And like I said, the landlord business, a lot of times people make these investments
It's a headache
and they're like, I don't want to do this. So I find these addresses and I send literally yellow handwritten, where they look like handwritten letters saying, hey, I want to buy your house at address such and such. And you may send out 5,000 of those, and you may only get 50 people to call you back, and 25 of them are probably cussing you out because you're bothering them.
Right.
And then 10 people may give you an offer that sounds reasonable, and you may only close on 2 of them.
Yeah.
But with that few $100s that you invested, you may make $5,000 to $10,000. I've never made anything less than $5,000 on a wholesale, and it's just basically you're connecting somebody that needs to sell their house really fast for cash, and a buyer that has the cash.
Right.
And that's it.
And the buyer wouldn't necessarily know anything about this seller, because unless you went out and sought the seller.
Very true.
Know what I mean? Yeah.
So I and everyone has a different approach with wholesaling. Some people go in, like, I want to buy this house. I'll be the one buying the house.
Yeah.
And then, depending on if they decide to double close, that's another story.
Yeah.
They end up seeing this buyer and they're like, hey, what's going on? And, at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't really go that route. I try to be as transparent as possible and just tell them, like, hey, I am a wholesaler, but I have a group of buyers, that are looking to pay cash, and if you need some cash,
right,
I can make it happen.
Trying to get rid of your house or whatever. That's
right.
work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like minimum investment.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so basically the only investment you putting in is your advertising and maybe a couple $100. You stand to make a couple grand. That's glorious.
That's it, right?
I guess the biggest part of that investment would be your time
and the knowledge and the know-how, right? So one big piece to it is having the knowledge, understanding like how to run comps, what the house is going to be worth, being able to go through the house and give some rough estimates on like how much rehab the house needs. Yeah. Now, a lot of times what people do is they'll just call a bunch of contractors and ask them to come over and say, hey, can you bid this house? Right. Right. And then you know how much it costs for the rehab. Right. So you can do it that way too. But the biggest piece is being able to give a good deal, because, even if you lock the house in and you begin to build buyers, like if you're not giving the buyer a good deal, they're never going to mess with you ever again, right? If you say, hey, I think, this is a $50,000 rehab, and they jump in and it's $90,000, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So, you got to build that trust. But yeah, it's a minimum investment type of thing. That's dope. Once again, Briefcase Bing giving you gems. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dropping them gems. You know
I don't never say nothing. I'll be sucking up all the knowledge.
That's what's up. Oh, man.